Thomas Dimitrov. And you start to see patterns of exactly what is valued. We've always known that they want to be an attacking team and they want to be a fast team, but we're now starting to see where they make decisions on players where speed is by far of the utmost, the most important thing ever in this entire world. Let's start here. Takk McKinley was a guy that they were able to secure at the back end of the first round through trade. It cost him a third-rounder and a seventh-round pick. If you take a look at the rest of the pass rushers on the board, none of them really came in here for a visit. T.J. Watt was a projection, a guy who played outside linebacker, and you would have to project him as a defensive end, but he was not the kind of guy that you would look for. Taco Charlton, another player that did not come in here, is a big-body, 280-pound monster who ran a 4.92. That is not what Dan Quinn and this team is looking for. Takk McKinley, 4.59 in the 40. That was second best amongst all guys that tested as pass rushers. The only other guy who was there, Hassan Reddick, who went well before then. He's more of a linebacker. He tested a little bit faster. What's important is this. You had a guy like Vic Beasley, drafted 2 years ago. He was number one in the 40 at a 4.53. This is a team, when it comes to their edge rushers, if they want a bigger guy, no, that's not that important. They want a quicker guy, it's not that important. But if you're fast is going to take priority in almost every single position on defense. It also applies to linebacker as well. Deion Jones, last year, the top linebacker in the entire draft at the 40, a 4.59. Devondre Campbell ran just beyond that at a 4.6. He was number 2. Now, there are some teams that had a 5th or 6th round grade on him, but for the Falcons, that made sense for them to draft him a little bit early because the speed fits the scheme. And I think a lot of people, when they do an evaluation of the Falcons draft, they miss the idea that scheme is most important to them.
Deion Jones, remember, he ran the 40 in 4.38 at the combine up there.
That's
now,
made up.
Was that a real time? He ran a 4.38 and a 4.42. Those were his 2 40s up in Indiana, or excuse me, at LSU's pro day.
Is he a receiver?
And so after the combine, when he got ready, they do, I know, drill-specific training, but you can't go from like a 4.7 to a 4.38. So you're right. Absolute blazing speed. Correctly so, Jimmy Johnson still gets credit for something he decided to do 25 years ago. We're going to be smaller, but by the time you get to the hole, we're going to have 2 or 3 guys waiting there for you. It's supposed to come to roost when teams decide that they're going to have a power running game going against you. When I get my mitts on you because you're so undersized, we're going to be able to mash the football. And that didn't really happen to the Falcons last year.
And Los, a couple of things there. A, because the offense is so good that they're not playing teams that can consistently run the ball because either they're behind or it's a high-scoring game. And what Los said, I think, is so true. And our guy Landry, Chris Landry, who's going to join us in the 6 o'clock hour, he says this too. Ignore what you're hearing, the projections. Well, somebody has this player in the 5th or 6th. Well, that's a media projection. On the Falcons board, and this is what I've said about Quinn, his plan, whether it works or not, whether it is popular or not, his plan is very simple. I want guys who can run their tail off. When Deion Jones was picked and talked to be an undersized linebacker that just was not going to be able to withstand the pounding, Quinn's like, okay, I'm going to start him from game 1 or game 2, whatever it turned out to be, and he's going to be the key to my defense. Same thing with Campbell, who was a little slower to get there. And now Takk McKinley, he wants speed. That's all he wants.
Now that you're going from essentially Babs to Dontari Poe up front, that's that. You can't fix everything in 1 or 2 years. Now you have Biggins up front to free up those smaller, faster linebackers.
Which
makes me think that Duke Riley's going to wind up playing a lot of football as a rookie.
The other part is if he occupies enough offensive linemen, those one-on-one matchups could be there for Takk or for Vic and some of the other guys. Los, it's a great point.
Consider these last 2 players because Duke Riley, who went off in the 3rd round over the Atlanta Falcons, also another guy, posted a really great 40 time and a lot of good athleticism. Alex Anzalone from Florida went right behind him to the Saints. Now, Anzalone, again, media boards, was a full round better on most of them than Duke Riley, but Duke Riley fits the scheme better. DeMonte Kazee, the San Diego State cornerback, very physical guy, not overly fast, 4.5. He went right in front of Desmond King. What's the big question about Desmond King, despite being a former Jim Thorpe Award winner? Speed. Long speed. And so, again, as you watch this draft and you see who they use their 30 visits on. Takk McKinley got a 30 visit. Duke Riley got a 30 visit. Last year, DeAndre Jones and Campbell got 30 visits. If you're fast and you can run, I don't care if you have a 5th round grade, you're a 4th rounder to them. Even if you're a 4th round grade, you're a 3rd rounder because you can run. That is front office Los.
Yeah, everybody that they're bringing onto this roster over the last 3 years, there's a profile, and we're going to be fast. We'll try to make up for everything else, but we're going to be fast.
Well, even on offense, look, Taylor Gabriel adds more to that. Tevin Coleman. I remember doing shows where I was like, the Falcons have a track team offensively. When you can line up Julio, Gabriel, Sanu, Freeman, Coleman, it was like boom, boom. It was like one after another.
It really is.
It's got to drive defenses nuts.
There's a mental wear down factor
absolutely.
about that you know that there's supposed to be one guy or maybe two. When there's five on offense, and no matter who gets the football, you realize that it's not even just getting a first down. They could be in the end zone if you miss a tackle.
Whether or not you agree with anyone's plan, I always think is beside the point. The fact that they have a plan, I love. I love a team with a plan.